On Larry King Now, reality TV royalty, Brandi Glanville. What's the recipe for a good reality show?
You know, I honestly enjoy the reality shows where you know someone's being genuine and it's not, no one's holding back. I feel like some of the reality shows are a little too, I don't want to say scripted, but I think people self-produce.
Why are the Housewives show so addicting?
People love drama, and it's like train wreck TV. You can't help but watch. People think they know you personally, and like you'll be in the grocery store and someone will be like, oh my God, I can't believe it, how's your dad? And I'm like, do I know this person? Or do they just watch the show?
Mr. Trump, what was it like working on that show?
Behind the scenes, he's much softer. And I think when he's doing his shtick and he's, debating and doing all this, he's the you're fired guy, instead of the softer side that we all got to know.
Plus,
there have been a couple times in my life where I'm attracted to women, and I've had relationships, but it's beautiful and wonderful and sensual and all of those things that you don't get with a man. It's great.
All next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Our special guest is Brandi Glanville, the model turned television personality, podcast host, and author. Brandi is most known for her multi-season stint on the hit reality show The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, as well as one season of The Celebrity Apprentice. She's also the host of the podcast Brandi Glanville Unfiltered, and she's penned 2 books, including Drinking and Tweeting and Other Brandi Blunders. And now Brandi is appearing on Fox's new celebrity cooking competition, My Kitchen Rules. That airs Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. We had hosted that, the great chef, with us last week, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, obviously, the man of the hour, Mr. Trump. What was it like working on that show?
Honestly, I had a great experience with Donald Trump. When the cameras were off, he was lovely to everyone. He would make sure that everyone knew that, it's a show and they did a great job. And the cameras came on, he turned into the you're fired guy. And he's great television. I liked him as a person. However, I didn't vote for him as president, but I had a great experience with him.
Are you surprised that he's president?
I'm shocked.
Is he the same person that you see now on a press conference or signing executive orders that you knew?
He's the same person as when the cameras were on. Do you know, when behind the scenes, he's much softer. And I think when he's doing his shtick and he's, debating and doing all this, he's the you're fired guy, instead of the softer side that we all got to know.
There are lots of stories, and you can answer them, or at least part of it, that there are secret tapes, behind-the-scenes tapes of The Apprentice that NBC is keeping and never showing, that shows him not appealing in a bad way toward women. Did you ever sense that?
Honestly, no. The only thing, and everyone reached out to me when it became evident that he was going to be the Republican nominee, and they wanted to know what was inappropriate with how he treated me. And he wasn't inappropriate with me. I mean, I'm not going to make anything up. The only thing that I could remember was that he did say, you should never wear red lipstick. And I was like, I wore it the next day. I don't really care. I'm not taking makeup advice from Donald Trump, but he was honestly not inappropriate with me. I've heard stories. I don't know that these tapes actually exist. How would I know?
Have you seen Arnold Schwarzenegger do it?
I haven't watched the new one yet. I'm a fan of Arnold, but I'm not good with change. I don't like when people, like my shows that I love, I don't like the recipe to be changed.
All right, you're back on TV for My Kitchen Rules. What brought you back?
Money. Yeah, I'm a single mom. I have 2 boys. And
now explain it. Curtis Stone is the guy, right?
Curtis Stone is one of the judges, as well as Kat Cora. She's an Iron Chef, the first female Iron Chef. And then we have 5 celebrity couples, and we're judging one another, as well as having the judges judge us.
So you're a celebrity couple with who?
My friend Dean, who was married to my husband's wife, now wife.
This sounds like another show.
Yeah.
So Dean, your partner, is married.
Was married.
Was married.
to Leanne Rimes, who's now married to my ex-husband. Basically, Eddie and I were married, and Dean and Leanne were married, and Eddie and Leanne had an affair and then got married, and we got divorced. And then when I was offered this show, I thought, what better partner than Dean?
Were you pissed at Eddie?
Oh, yes, of course.
Is that okay now? Are you friends? Is he the father of your children?
Unfortunately, no, I'm kidding. Oh, yes, he is definitely the father of my children. Right now, we're not in a great place. It ebbs and flows, as you know, how marriages go.
They do. Tell me about what's fun about Kitchen Rules, why you enjoy doing this.
It was fun because I love to cook, and I grew up cooking, and I thought it would be nice to show, like, the Housewives audience a different side of me. I don't know if I succeeded, but I definitely tried, and I'm with my kids half the time. I cook them dinner every night. They don't like to eat out. So I just wanted to show people that I actually am not just that person that goes around getting drunk and saying the F word.
Are you friendly with the competitors?
I'm friendly with the competitors now, but during filming, I mean, there was alliances and people trying to get different people off the show because, we all wanted to win.
And you know who won, right?
Yes, I do.
But you can't reveal it.
I'll tell you later.
What was Curtis Stone like to work with?
Curtis was awesome. He's Australian, and I have a lot of Australian friends just because they're balls to the wall. They're like, yeah, let's party. They're not judgmental, even though he was judging. He was just fun and cool and always making, like, crass jokes that I like and dice, and it was fun.
Is it intimidating to cook for a professional chef?
It definitely is intimidating to be judged by a professional chef, but I mean, that's what we signed up for. So I had a feeling I was going to get murdered a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Were you nervous about it?
I'm nervous right now, as you can probably tell, but
Why?
Because you're Larry King.
Oh, stop.
So no, I'm serious. You're a legend.
Okay, so you're a doll. The other host and judge is the famed chef Kat Cora, and you recently admitted to having a brief fling with her.
Yes.
Why did you admit that?
Somebody put it out in the world. I didn't put it out there, but it was put out in the world, and then she admitted it in an interview, and I'm always pretty much, like, I just tell the truth. So when I was asked after she had already admitted it, I just thought, yeah, okay, yeah, we did. It was after I was done competing on the show.
It was a one-time fling?
No, we hung out. It was just, like, if it was during the show, I would have won, duh.
Had you ever had that with a woman before?
Yes.
So you're bisexual?
I just like who I like. It doesn't have to be, it's been men, but there have been a couple times in my life where I'm attracted to women, and, I've had relationships.
It's a different world, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you could admit it now.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
No, it is. It's completely different, but it's beautiful and wonderful and sensual and all of those things that you don't get with a man. It's great.
Who are you dating now?
I'm dating a businessman. He's very sweet.
Nice. Serious?
It's pretty serious.
What kind of business?
He owns a glass company. They make the glass doors for, like, anywhere you see glass, he pretty much makes it. And it's very odd. It's not an overly exciting job, but
he makes money.
He does.
Next, we'll look at Brandi's time on both The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and The Celebrity Apprentice. And we'll talk about what's next. Stay with us. My guest is Brandi Glanville. You can now see her on My Kitchen Rules. It's on Fox. It airs Thursdays at 9 p.m. The series is completed shooting. When will we see the final episode?
I know it's an 8-episode arc, but we're on episode 3 this Thursday, so not in a month and a half or so.
What is your favorite thing to cook?
Beef stroganoff. That sounds weird, but it's my favorite. I love it. It's my favorite thing.
Like noodles.
I know. It's not great for you. I mean, most of my cooking is pretty heavy because I learned from my grandma, but.
Well, you got a lot of success in reality TV. What's the recipe for a good reality show?
I honestly enjoy the reality shows where someone's being genuine and it's not no one's holding back. Like, I love watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta because they're putting like their real dirty laundry out there. They're crying, they're going to jail. I mean, it's real stuff. Whereas I feel like some of the reality shows are a little too, I don't want to say scripted, but I think people self-produce, where they want to put out an image of something perfect, and if they were just saying what they were actually thinking, it would probably be better TV.
Was Beverly Hills fun?
It was really hard because I am one of those people that just say whatever I want whenever I want to say it, and the women on that show in particular, out of all the franchises of Housewives, most of them were actresses at one point. So they're able to control themselves and act like different people and put out this perfection, this persona of perfection. And then when the cameras are off, they're saying the F word and they're doing everything I'm doing with the cameras on, but then I take all the heat. So it was difficult for me.
Recently, Chelsea Handler said this about the Kardashians in reality television. She was on with Variety magazine. Stop covering Trump so much. They were treating him as an entertainer first. It was a reality show. We have all turned into a reality show. I blame the Kardashians personally. The beginning of the end was the Kardashians. The way these people have blown up and don't go away is surreal. Everyone is for sale. We're looking at a man that gets mad at Vanity Fair for reviewing his restaurant poorly. What do you make of what she said?
Well, I think Chelsea's a giant hypocrite because she's friends with all of the Kardashians. She even had Khloe co-hosting or hosting her show when she wasn't there to do it. She had originally she was going after them, and then she became best friends with them. So now it's something different, I feel like that's a little bit hypocritical.
Obviously.
Yeah. So.
Why are the Housewives show so addicting?
I think because people love drama, and it's like train wreck TV. You can't help but watch. It's almost like the new soap operas, because soap operas are pretty much gone. There's like one left. And I feel like people think they know you personally. And like, you'll be in the grocery store and someone will be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. How's your dad? And I'm like, do I know this person? Or do they just watch the show? And I feel like it's like a little glimpse into these glamorous lives. And I think that is intoxicating for people. Do
the directors, producers lead you into subjects?
That is hard to, I mean, if you allow them to, they will, only because they are all independent contractors, and they're fighting for their jobs. They're not definitely going to be there next season. In fact, we rarely had the same producers. There was a really high turnover.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because if we didn't get good ratings and didn't have a good show, next. So you think they're your best friends, and then you're doing kind of what they say to do because you think they have your back, but then really they don't. So it's hard, you have to know who to trust. And that's usually just yourself.
Why'd you leave?
I was not asked back full time. Yeah.
You weren't?
Nope.
Why do you think they didn't ask you? Did they give you a reason?
Well, I didn't have any friends left. I mean, if there's no reason for me to be there, why would I be hanging out with a bunch of ladies that don't like me? So it's like...
But that would add to the reality, wouldn't it?
But I wouldn't be invited to any of the parties.
Oh.
You know what I mean? You kind of have to have at least one person that you're with that is cool with you. Otherwise, like, why be there?
Were you the most outspoken one of the lot?
I was, and now we have, there are some new girls that I think are kind of pretending, one new girl that's kind of pretending to be me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you always free-form like this, even growing up? Were you a teenager? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Sacramento, California.
Where? Oh.
Yeah, Sacramento. Yes, my mom said it's the worst thing about me and the best thing about me. And I think being a middle child, I kind of came out of the womb fighting, for that attention from parents, and wasn't the baby, I wasn't the boy, I wasn't the eldest. So I was very feisty my whole life.
When we return, we'll dive into a revealing game of If You Only Knew. Brandi Glanville's our guest. Don't click away. You can see Brandi Glanville Thursdays, 9 p.m. on My Kitchen Rules on Fox. Tell me about the podcast.
the podcast, I actually met you there with your beautiful wife one time.
Yes.
It's going great. I'm 3.5 years in. It's fun to do. I do it once or twice a week, depending on whether my celebrity guests show up or not.
And it's called Unfiltered, right?
Yes.
So you say anything about anything?
Yes, I say a lot of F words, and I say whatever I want, which generally gets me in trouble. But I don't really care unless it affects my family, then I care.
Talk about sex?
We talk a lot about sex. We talk a lot about sex. Yeah.
Why is F such a great word?
Because it can be anything.
Bad or good?
Right, anything. It's kind of amazing.
Did you regret ever revealing anything? Did you ever reveal something that you said, maybe I shouldn't have said?
Oh, yeah, just one thing one time, just with this, it caused a lawsuit that is actually finally going to court tomorrow after 2 years. So that is something
You're
that...
being sued?
I am.
What'd you say?
I can't, I'll tell you tomorrow. I can't talk about it until after court tomorrow, so.
It was about, you talked about another person?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a dream interview for your podcast? Who are you out to get?
I don't really, I love variety. I love interviewing people. Like I had a doctor on once, which is just so interesting to me. I just like variety, really.
Okay, let's play a game of If You Only Knew.
Okay.
Funniest fan encounter.
Oh, the Mick, the lady that plays the Mick. She wanted to make out the other night and was like, okay, but we didn't because her husband was there.
She really came on with you.
She was like kind of joking, but I was sitting on her lap and we had had some drinks and it was at the Fox TCAs. So she was like, oh my God, we love you on Housewives. And it was like, she was like, we should make out. I'm like, yeah.
Best piece of advice you ever got?
Don't start the fight, but be sure you finish it.
What's the worst piece of advice you ever got?
Always tell the truth.
Where we find you on a day off?
On the couch.
Close with your kids? How old are your kids?
13 and 9. They're my best friends.
2 boys, huh?
2 boys.
Do they ever get embarrassed by your honesty?
My kids are so rad, and they say that they're honored because I'm so inappropriate.
So you've been with a woman and the 13-year-old doesn't care?
No.
Person from history you'd like to take to lunch?
From history. Winston Churchill.
Biggest risk you ever took?
Leaving my husband.
But you left him because he was...
He was cheating, but he was willing to stay, but I left.
Secret talent?
I did gymnastics for 9 years. So
What?
I did gymnastics for 9 years, so...
Really? You're a gymnast. You're tall for a gymnast.
I know.
Childhood celebrity crush?
Michael Jackson.
First job?
Dry cleaners.
You worked behind the counter at the dry cleaner?
Yes.
Favorite thing about Hollywood?
The favorite thing about Hollywood,
What do you like about living here?
I like that there's a variety of people. You know, everyone's coming from somewhere else. There's not a lot of people that are from here, but that's also something that I dislike. So it's a double-edged sword.
Mixed feelings?
Yes.
Person you'd want to switch places with for a day?
Chelsea Handler when she had her E-show.
Biggest pet peeve?
People that flake.
People that flake?
When they don't show up or they say they're coming and they don't make it, and it drives me crazy.
I hate lateness.
Yes, I was only 5 minutes late.
All right, Brandi Glanville in 10 years?
Old and hopefully drunk.
With a guy?
Yeah, for sure, or a chick, you never know.
Married?
No, not married.
You won't marry again?
No.
What turns you on about a man and what turns you on about a woman?
I think I like men that are confident, but not cocky. Just that they have this air about them no matter what. Like if a man is shorter than me and is upset when I'm wearing high heels, I could never be with that guy. I just like a guy who's comfortable in his own skin. As far as women go, it's all different types. It just depends. Like Kat she's she's like a little powerhouse, and she has such a great, sexy, but yet strong demeanor, and I just found it super attractive.
You're very fun. I like you. In our final moments, we were flooded with social media questions for Brandi. We'll ask her a few next. We're back with Brandi Glanville. She's on My Kitchen Rules, airing Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern on Fox. We have some fan questions. Corey on our show blog. Do you think there is a stigma attached to reality TV stars? And if so, do you care?
I think that there's a stigma for a reason. It's because a lot of them end up either killing themselves or in rehab. So it does happen. But I personally I'm together, and I don't care what people think about me.
Corey also asked if you ever want to act on television or films.
I have done some acting jobs. It's never been anything that I wanted to do. It was just kind of something that fell into my lap, and I'm not good at it, so no.
Okay, that's very fair. Jane Vex on Facebook. What new city would you bring a franchise of Real Housewives to?
New city. I guess somewhere in Florida. Oh, no, we already did Florida. I don't know. I think the Housewives, in my opinion, I feel like it's done. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's, okay, what's next?
What's still on?
Orange County, Atlanta, Dallas, Beverly Hills, and New York. I mean, it's kind of hit them all, you know, the good cities. And
Andy Cohen produces them.
Yes.
Abby S., would you ever consider a Housewives spin-off with Kim?
Kim and I have talked about doing things down the road, yes.
All right, Serenity to Please One on Twitter has a few questions. One, you ever regret doing The Real Housewives?
No, I don't regret it.
How do you manage to deal with all the crazies on social media?
I hit the mute button, and I also have help. I have a team that I pay to help me because it's so much hate that it doesn't make sense for me to look at that.
Since I don't look at it, what happens to you on social media?
You know, people go after, you know, they destroy your looks. They say, oh, you're plastic, you're old, or drunk, you're this. It's just things that people that I don't know are saying that don't matter to me. So why would I let that kind of get under my skin?
Do you tweet a lot?
I do. Yes.
What is the one thing you'd like to change from your past?
I would love to do an interview and not be asked about my ex-husband.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
At Marcus Moner on Twitter, how do you remain so confident in a society that can be so hostile to strong, independent women?
You know, I have an amazing family. My mom's the strongest woman I know. My parents are still together. My sister's an absolute gem. I mean, my family grounds me. If I didn't have my kids and my family, I would not be okay.
What does your sister do?
She's a CPA and a lobbyist.
Really?
Yes.
In Washington or?
Sacramento.
State government.
Yes.
Do you, where's your career go? It can't be just the podcast. Where do you go with it now? You're not going to do Housewives, so.
That's a great question. I'm still honestly figuring it out. I was modeling. I kind of that fell into just because I was tall and thin, and then met my husband. I got married and was with him for 13 years and was happy being a wife. And then out of the marriage, Housewives found me. So I haven't really had a moment to figure out exactly what it is that my passion is. And I love to write. I like doing the podcast. It's fun. I don't know if it's end all be all for me. I don't know exactly what that is yet.
Did you like modeling?
Modeling is harder than people think. And, you know, I was never a supermodel. I was one of those people that, you know, I did well, but it's hard because at a young age, you know, okay, this eye is not the same as that eye, and you're, you know, at 109 pounds, you're heavy. You're not doing the show. You need to lose 3 pounds, and your face isn't, you know, it's a difficult thing to get your head around when you're 17 and being told to lie and say that you're 15. So it's an inside job, but it taught me a lot. But it also taught me to have insecurities that I probably wouldn't have if I had not been in that business.
You wouldn't do it again?
I'm 44, I don't think so. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What a great guest Brandi is. My guest, Brandi Glanville. Be sure to see her on My Kitchen Rules. It airs Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Fox, and as always, you can find me on Twitter at Kings Things. See you next time.